Today we're making a chair out of a moose antler and a rock. This was a lot easier than I thought it would be and only required a few basic power tools. I was given this pair of antlers by Izzy Swan and they weigh about 20 pounds each. Fun fact, bull moose shed their antlers every year, so no moose was harmed in the making of this furniture. I noticed that one of them has a natural shape that's very conducive for a chair, but it has an organic shape. It's curving in so many different directions that fitting it into something is going to be the challenge. The other antler has a more aggressive angle between the two main pieces, so we're going to focus on the first one and set the other to the side. For the rock, I got a granite boulder that weighs about 300 pounds, and you can tell how heavy it is because it demolished this ramp near the bottom. The rock is bigger than it needs to be, but that's good because I want to cut a flat bottom on it anyways so that the chair base sits nice and steady. Rock wrestling is my primary fitness activity and hobby these days. For the flat face, I'm going to use the Husqvarna brake saw. This is a professional grade tool that has two blades that cut just an inch apart from each other. This allows you to make these double cuts in the rock, and then you can break out the chips in between, which allows the saw to keep going deeper and deeper into the rock. Now I have put flat surfaces on big rocks just using my 4.5-inch angle grinder, but that takes quite a bit longer and you obliterate most of the rock. You have to basically carve it down to a flat surface, and so you don't get as much usable scrap rock. As the cut gets deeper, I use a steel flat bar to chip out those little broken pieces. And it only took me about 15 minutes to cut all the way through and get that first nice flat surface. This first surface is going to be the top of the chair seat. It's the bigger end of the rock and gives me plenty of room to carve down into it to recess the antler. So that means the second cut is actually going to be the one that creates the base. The base can be a little bit smaller than the top and still be plenty steady. Between those two cuts, I took about 70 to 80 pounds off of the rock, and it's still heavy, but a lot easier to move now. Oh, and I should note, this project is sponsored by Poncho. They make my work shirts that you see me wearing in this video. They're awesome. I've rolled it into shade so I could kind of figure out the design and get the carving. I was very pleased to see that it was sitting nice and flat, and I had plenty of height. I was probably a little bit taller than I absolutely need to be. Started placing the antler on top of it and just kept kind of moving it around, trying to find the right angle and location and figure out my carving strategy. This is a process where I like to take my time, because once you cut into the rock, it's set into stone. So after looking at it from a few different angles, taking some pictures, I got out my Sharpie and started tracing the outline around the antlers. But not the whole antlers, just the tips, because the other part of the antlers curves away, so I'm going to have to carve a little bit down and then keep retracing layer by layer. So there's my very crude outline, and now I can start cutting the first recesses. This is actually really easy with an angle grinder, and I use a variety of different diamond blades on it, and I'll put links to those in the description below. But stone carving with an angle grinder, surprisingly fast and easy. It just makes a lot of dust. I would try to carve down about 1/2 inch to an inch, then hold up the antler again, trace a few more lines, do a little bit more carving, and this is where going slow is your friend. It's tempting just to try to outline the whole thing and carve it all at once, but you're dealing with a lot of curves here, so you kind of have to look at where the antler's bumping into the rock. So you have to look at where the antler's bumping into the rock, and then just carve out a little bit more, hold up the antler again, carve out a little bit more, and the more of these cycles that you do, theoretically, the more accurate that your fit can be. So precision isn't about having such a steady hand where you're guiding the tool perfectly. It's much more just about how many measurements you take. And you've heard the expression, measure twice, cut once. Well, this is more like measure 1,000 times and cut 1,000 times. This cylindrical diamond attachment was really handy for carving right underneath the bottom of the horns, which have a pretty curved shape. The fit was coming along, and I was really surprised to see that the antler would stay in place without any additional support or pins. And when I'm doing three-dimensional freehand carving, I like to keep rotating the piece as I go. You just look at things differently from different angles, and I was kind of neglecting the back. So I gave the rock a little wrestle and drew some new pencil lines. So while I'm carving away, let me tell you a little bit about the sponsor of this video, Poncho. You see the shirt I'm wearing, this really nice blue one? That's from Poncho. I really like their Western style denim shirts. They're heavy duty enough to withstand all the abuse that I put clothes through, but they also have really good movement without being too bulky or baggy. In addition to the normal size range that you would expect, they also have both regular and slim fits. And for someone on the skinny side like me, the slim fit is quite nice. This blue one is called the Fort Davis, and it's my favorite. I wear this all the time now. You'll actually see it in a bunch of my videos, including the new Maker Ranch videos. The Madame Morris is one that I keep in the metal shop, and I use it for my welding and when I'm doing a lot of grinding. It's a fantastic shirt, and it really protects my forearms. The Western style snaps are super convenient. It just makes it easier to throw on or rip off. And right now you can get $10 off your first Poncho order when you enter your email. So be sure to check that link in the description, and thanks to Poncho for sponsoring this video. In total, I only had to do about 4.5 to 5 hours of carving for this project. And a good portion of that is just moving the antler out of the way and drawing little pencil or pen marks. There was one part of the antler though that was getting in the way, and so I just had to grind off just maybe 1/8 of an inch just to get a better fit. Oh, and grinding the antler smells terrible. It smells like burnt bones. So now that I was getting deep enough into the rock to where the antler could sit nice and stable, I realized I needed to carve down the rock that's in between the parts of the antlers, just so I'd have a more continuous kind of curved seat surface. From a cost to longevity and just all-purpose rock carving tool, this one blade I think represents the most value. Got it off of Amazon. I haven't worn through the grit, and I've carved a lot of rock, and it has a little bit of a curve to the surface, so just all around, fantastic tool. It was coming together great, and the chair is really comfortable. I was so tempted just to say, oh, I don't need to really permanently affix it to the rock. I can just let it kind of sit there and it's good enough. But the rocking of the antler could chip out the antler itself, or it could eventually wear down the rock and break little pieces of it off. So I decided that a steel pin through the thickest part of the antler and into the rock would be a good idea. Now I'm not accurate enough just to drill one hole, switch bits from antler bits to masonry bits, so I over drilled the hole into the rock using my angle grinder and a core bit. That's going to allow me to use my metal sleeve technique where I take a steel pipe that fits right around a steel rod, in this case 3/8 of an inch, and then I can epoxy that sleeve into the oversized rock hole so that the sleeve is perfectly aligned with the tight hole in the antler. I use Quikrete anchoring epoxy, which is super strong, but I had to squirt it carefully to make sure I didn't get it into the steel tube itself. So after the first set cured, I added a little bit more, and I had to use chopsticks and be real careful here. And then before the epoxy fully cured, I scraped up some of the dust that was from all the grinding and little pieces of granite, and I just sprinkled those right onto the top of the still wet epoxy, and it kind of hides the epoxy really well. I've also found that just basic bathroom grout, like the kind you use for tile, works really well here, and you still can sprinkle some of the rock dust on it to kind of blend and get a better color match. The rod fits in so tight that I want to put a little handle on it to make it just a bit easier to pull out. So I scored a notch on it with the angle grinder. Now I can put it in the vise and heat it up with a pair of blow torches, get it nice and hot, and then try to bend it into sort of an L shape. I did a little bit of welding to reinforce the notch that I had cut, and then ground everything down nice and smooth. Kind of a lot of effort to make a bent piece of metal, but life of a maker. Power washed the rock just to get all the dust and grime off of it, and it's still pretty heavy. So to move rocks like this, I like to use a dolly and a ratchet strap, and the ratchet strap just lets me pull it onto the dolly all the way when it's just me by myself. Shout out to ratchet straps for being both useful and always a little bit confusing when you're trying to line them up. The rock kind of looks like a dinosaur footprint, but it's perfect for this moose antler, and the bend in the steel rod lined up perfectly and wraps right around it. The chair is quite comfortable, And all the horns on the antler are perfect for hanging clothes that you're going to wear the next day. And this whole thing has me thinking that I kind of want to get my hands on some more antlers or other things of the like. Because this was a lot of fun. It wasn't that time consuming, and it definitely is a statement piece. So if you got any ideas for what I should do with the other antler, hit me up in the comment section below. Thanks to Poncho for sponsoring this video, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks. Bye.